what's up, guys? Boxing with B.
Hey, Edward without the paycheck.
You're back.
Yes.
Finally. You missed out last week. We had Coach Ray Corona here. Well, not here exactly, through Zoom.
Yes.
But we had him on the show, and he even said, "Hey, where's your dad?" I was like,
Sidekick
not
was out.
here.
Sorry about that. But I heard the
Sidekick.
podcast, so it's all right. You did good.
You listened to it on the podcast?
Good points on the, ref.
Heck yeah. No, but I think with that one, I mean, I know you heard it. I just want to touch on it a little bit. Like you said, good points on the ref. There was a lot of things that he said that I was like, man, that takes a lot. Like, prepping for it. He did UFC too.
Oh, I did? I did not know that.
Oh, then you didn't listen to the whole thing.
Well, I didn't pay much attention.
Exposed. No, so he's a ref and a judge for MMA and boxing. So when he's getting ready for this,
For the
he
state
even
of California, right? Only?
Yeah, no, I don't know if it's just for California, because even boxing, he's not just California. He can go ref anywhere.
Okay, because I've only seen him in California. So.
No, but you're going to have to go back and listen to it now, because I just exposed you. You didn't listen to the whole thing. Anyways, you saw the fights. We saw him in action on TV, on DAZN. Vergil Ortiz versus Samuel Vargas happened last week. DAZN. Golden Boy brought it back to California. Southern California is finally, they happened here.
Yes.
And so first off, they had to do the COVID testing here too.
Correct.
They went through all of that. But Robert Garcia was not allowed to go into the corner because his test came back positive, but then they sent him to go do another test, and he did, and it came back negative. But they said that he tested positive for coronavirus antibodies.
Wow.
But they just said, just as a precaution, he had to stay out. He was supposed to have 2 fighters on that day. I don't know if there was more, but 2 that I know of. But it was Vergil Ortiz. He was going to be in that corner. Yeah. And he was going to be in Hector Tanajara's corner. And I believe that was going to be the co-main versus Mercito Gesta. The Mercito Gesta had food poisoning. So his fight got canceled. So they were out. But first off, let's just talk about, the fights that stood out to us that day, which was Sinisa Estrada versus Adkins.
That fight shouldn't have taken place, period.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was...
How do you throw an amateur to a professional? I don't care if she had 5 professional fights. She had no amateur experience, no nothing. She shouldn't have been in that ring with that girl.
And you know what? I had tweeted right before I was live tweeting, and I was like, dang, Adkins, she's 42 years old. She only has 5 fights. I was like, man, all the odds are against her right now.
She had 5 fights against people that, were also brand new.
Yeah, and they were by knockout, but they even said her wins by knockout were against people that have never won before.
Correct.
And you know what? When she walked out, I was like, oh no.
She's gonna
not hating on her, but just as a professional boxer entering the ring, she did not look ready. She looked like she's like almost crawling out.
She was just
like
she
scared.
Just showed up to get paid. Maybe.
Yeah, but
Maybe.
Oh my goodness gracious. It was so bad.
The other girl knew right away, because if she didn't know she could take her, the bell rings, she just ran across and tagged her. She knew what she was doing. She knew what she was up against. She knew that this girl had no chance at all. No chance. Not even a journeyman, that had something that, okay, maybe you could fight. No chance at all.
Yeah, it was really sad. Even the fact that the bell rings and
she runs across.
But the Adkins, she didn't even come out like,
she knew she was going to get, she was scared. She was scared.
Like this.
She knew it was up. She was scared. Didn't even throw a punch.
I think the whole world had no words for watching this.
Everybody knew that fight shouldn't have taken place.
It should not have happened. No. That was a sad fight. And then at the end, too, it was a quick knockout. And it was one of those where, I didn't like that they were kind of pointing it out like, oh, it's a record-breaking knockout. It's like, this is a lady that was walking down the street that you chose to get beat up.
Well, and she got beat up all right.
It was so...
It wasn't...
Oh, man. There's nothing else to say about it. But at the end, I can't appreciate that Sinisa didn't go out there and celebrate like, I just did this.
She turned around that she was happy she knocked her out. She turned her. She didn't. The cameras don't show it that really good, but if you go back and see it, she knew what she did. So she thought, okay, I'm going to do something. Was happy. Then kind of they told, maybe her corner told her something, and she just went quiet, standing there. But no.
Yeah, well, that fight happened. That's how boxing came back to Southern California for women's boxing there.
Yeah.
But I did see that there's man, I should have gotten her name better, but there's this champion, I guess, that called her out and said, congratulations on your win, but that shouldn't have been her in the ring. It should have been me, but I had problems with my visa. Hopefully this fight can happen, Golden Boy. That's what she put.
Well,
I was
hopefully
like,
it does
oh,
happen.
snap.
Hopefully it does happen.
Respectful, but she's like, I'm here.
Yeah, don't run away. I'm here.
But anyway, so then the main event, what do you think of Vergil Ortiz?
Vergil Ortiz came in to fight, showed us what he could do, movement, power.
Yep.
Everything.
Samuel Vargas too didn't
and
go
he could take
in.
a punch too because the other kid connected.
Exactly. But Vargas, like you said, can take a punch because when he was in there, man, you could see, like you said, there's no audience. So you could hear everything. Yeah. And Vergil was just tagging him. And you could just tell that he was trying to unload all of his power with it. And that guy just stood there, took it. Oh, and if it wasn't for that ref, he would have continued.
Yeah, but he would have gotten hurt. He was already hurt as it was.
But I'm saying he has heart.
Yes. The other guy has heart. He showed that he wanted there to prove that he's a fighter. And he proved it.
Now, do you think that Errol Spence is ready to fight? I mean, Errol Spence. Do you think Vergil Ortiz is ready to fight someone like Errol Spence? Someone like Errol Spence, yes, but not Errol Spence yet. So you think he needs a little more fights and then get I would like to see him fight Crawford first. Okay, I had seen a video where he's mentioning with Robert Garcia and they're talking about like who he would like to fight. And they said, he's like, I think me versus Danny Garcia would be a good fight. That would be a good fight too. Who do you see winning that fight? I see Vergil, but I'm not going to count out Danny. Danny, when it comes to fight big names, he comes to fight. Yeah. The reason this guy says that is because when Danny Garcia was first fighting, remember he was saying something like, I'm the pretty one with the green eyes or something like that? He was saying something like that? And then he was matched up against Lucas Matisse and we're like, oh, finally, someone that's going to go in there and like show him who's boss. And he was. Until he got slapped in his corner by his dad. And he came back and was like, no, I fear my dad more than I fear you. I'm going to come in here and whoop you. And he changed that fight. So that's why I could totally see like, respect there. Don't count out Danny Garcia because, he can turn it up. He can turn it up. He fought like when he fought, what's his name? The guy that fought Spence in downtown LA. Thurman? No, that fought in downtown LA. Oh. Hey, don't look at me like that. Porter. When Porter and Garcia fought, Garcia didn't back down. He was a good fight. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Even when he fought Thurman, that was a good fight. Thurman, Garcia will put up a fight. And I like to see Ortiz. That'd be a good fight. Well, after this weekend, I think it just continues to prove that Ortiz, they say he's the future. He is the future. He is the golden boy of boxing. Let's get that straight. Let me ask you this. Power, there was a lot. Everything. There were a lot of comparisons of, this guy, he's getting a lot of attention, like Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is a good fighter, but he's more Hollywood. He's not a fighter. I'll give him credit because he's doing all of fair and square. When he comes to fight, he comes to fight. But then big names are knocking on the door. And De La Hoya, let him go. Fight him. Give him Gervonta Davis. Give him all the big names. There's Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. Let's see what he got. I don't give a shit what's his name, but fight him. Fight Danny Garcia. Ryan Garcia. Fight him. That Ryan is the best now, they say, right? Let's see if he's a golden boy. They don't even say that. They say he's a popular fighter. Well, he could get really popular if he beats these guys. True. And if he doesn't, he'd still be popular because he took the fights. True. Respect on both ends. So if he takes it and he loses, respect. If he takes it and wins, respect. Yeah. Hey, good point, man. Good point. I just got tired of that. Ryan this, Ryan that. It's okay, man. Just fight. It's okay. You're not the only one. If he wants to be released, he doesn't want. You'll get paid. You really will get paid with those fights. Trust me. It could be pay-per-view and all of us will buy that just to see him fight. Because I want to see him. Is he going to be a Mayweather that everybody disliked him at the beginning? Saying okay, but that's the thing is that no one dislikes him. All the non-boxing fans, a lot of people dislike him. Non-boxing fans love him. Oh yeah, because he's a pretty boy. He wants to be what De La Hoya was, but De La Hoya was a fighter. Yeah, that's true. Right? De La Hoya was a fighter. I saw De La Hoya fight. I saw him come up. I saw him in the Olympics. I saw him when he destroyed Chavez twice. So don't compare. You're getting fired. Hey, I'm not comparing. Don't compare De La Hoya. De La Hoya was a fighter. That's other people that are comparing. He grew up in the generation where they were all fighters. The Titos, the Mosleys, all them guys. Obakar, people don't know who Obakar. He gave him a fight. Yep. All these guys.
I watched them all. I never missed a De La Hoya fight.
So point is, if you don't want to hear A-Rod without the paycheck all riled up, stop comparing Vergil Ortiz to Ryan Garcia.
They're two different
Bottom
fighters.
line, that's it. Mic drop.
Yeah, that is. Because Vergil's not running from nobody.
Boom,
He's calling
son.
them out. He's calling them out. And he wants to fight them. He's not yelling, oh, I need to get paid.
That's true.
You are getting paid. You're making a lot of money.
That's
all
true.
right? A lot of people out here that are going and moving up would love to get paid what a boxer gets paid. But I know they put their lives into it because I've seen people not wake up no more. So it is a dangerous sport too.
No, definitely. Definitely true. On a side note, because you brought it way down, man. That's the truth. But man, I was like, yeah. And then you're like, yeah, but sometimes they don't finish it in the ring. I'm like, oh, yeah, I take a step back. The top ranked fights also finished. They had their finale. How enjoyable was that to have Tuesdays and Thursdays? Always something to look forward to. Like, oh, great. Shoot, it's fight night.
Bring
it's fight
boxing
night.
back. He brought it back.
Yep.
And a lot of them are not big names, but there was a lot of good fighters that nobody saw that put it up and said, this is my opportunity.
Yep.
And they made it big.
Coronavirus may have shut down the sports, but it definitely opened the doors for a lot of fighters that typically are not on TV.
Yeah, and typically they didn't have a belt, and now they do have belts.
That's true. Let's just mention some of the fights that stood out to us. Like you said, there's not too many for you, but I still remember that Coria versus Lopez fight because I didn't know who Coria was. And then we were both like, oh, he's from Moreno Valley. Like, oh, look at this kid. And then he put on a good fight. It was a good war. I don't remember who the main event was that day. That's how good it was. It was like, that should have been the main event.
Yeah, well,
it was a good fight. Like
the announcer was saying, when opportunity knocked, these kids are taking it and they took it.
Exactly, yeah. And then, of course, the fight that stood out to us. Well, no, before I say that one. Another guy that I would say it was the rise of him in this was Clay Collard.
Cassius Clay Collard.
And obviously that name stuck to you because you're like Cassius or you're like Clay. And it all just worked out. And then the fact that he was kind of like the first fight, he was the underdog and he won.
And
then you see him again and he's now the favored fighter and he's still, he maintained his win. But it was like...
He came to fight. That first fight, the other kid was supposed to win. He was an undefeated fighter, a rising star.
Yeah.
And Cassius was looking like the old Cassius.
Yeah.
And beat that kid up bad. I felt so bad for that other kid. They should have stopped it because that kid got really bad. He was undefeated. And, he never lost. He never gotten hurt. Cassius put it up to him and hurt him.
And then we had the Australians come in. And that was already something cool to watch because it was like,
they came to fight.
Yes, they came to put on a show and they did. But Franco came in and,
like I said,
and pulled that upset.
Them out. Don't count,
We
Garcia's
had said that. Don't just say it was you. It was me too. I had said
don't count his
Garcia's
fighters out.
I said he has Garcia as a trainer, and you're like, never count out Garcia's Garcia's fighters.
Because he will come to fight.
Yeah.
And Franco came to fight.
And that was a good fight.
It was.
That was the main event that it was like.
The champion never lost hope, even though you could tell he knew he was falling behind. He tried his best to the last round.
Yeah.
But Franco...
that fight, that from both ends, they put on a great performance.
Franco got his dream come true.
And then we saw the brother come in and take care of business.
Yes.
Even though he was supposed to be fighting Oscar Negrete. But then, he had Baez, I believe it was, that stepped in because of whatever. But at the end, he won. It was a fight and he won.
Yep.
So I think, actually, there was even one more. The last one that kind of still stayed in my head because it was Felix Verdejo versus, I forgot who the other guy was, but the other guy was undefeated, remember? And then we're like, the trainer was a Cuban trainer that he brings back the older fighters, remember?
Yes.
And so he put on a good performance. He went in there right away, took care of business, and then at the end, showed it. Like, they were like, oh, let's see what he's got. Let's see if he still got it. And he beat the guy that was undefeated. Quick, knocked him out.
Yeah.
That was a good comeback.
Like I said, it was good fights.
Yeah.
There were some pretty good fights there.
So then lastly, just to close that off, I hope that we start to see more during the week fights because I think that was legit.
I like that Tuesday night. It brought memories for me. Tuesday night fights,
I'm not going to lie. I don't have those memories.
I do.
But I liked Tuesday night fights, Thursday night, because I'd be like, oh, it's Monday, it's a work week. And then you're like, oh, wait, tomorrow the fights are on. And then now it's like, got to wait till Saturday.
Yeah, I got to see a lot of, Tuesday. I got to see Chavez fight on Tuesday. Yori Boy Campus, for all you guys to know. He fought Tuesday night fights too. It was great. It was USA fights. They were great.
Well, I hope that happens again. But talks about Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia. If that fight happens, who you got? I'm going to say right now, Errol Spence.
Errol Spence, but...
No, but think about this. You have to put into play, he's coming back from his car accident.
Yes, I know, and he hasn't fought nobody. No
Danny Garcia, I don't think I've seen him in the ring much either.
But it doesn't matter.
He's like, I feel like he's been on like vacation mode.
It's okay, but he's, all these fighters always train. So does Errol Spence. But Errol Spence, like I said, came from a bad accident that people don't know how he survived.
If we see,
I haven't seen him. I was hoping he would take a tune-up fight.
Yeah.
To see his actions, see if nothing is wrong. But you don't know. He was invincible. He was a great fighter. Oh, he still is a great fighter. He's still a great fighter and everything.
Cannot count out Danny Garcia either.
You can't count him out.
He has heart too.
That could come in that night, and every champion has one
Will Errol Spence be the one to stop Danny Garcia?
He might.
Actually stop him.
Because
Thurman beat him by decision.
But I don't know. After Errol Spence accident, I have no idea. I haven't seen him fight.
So if it was prior to the accident, you would say Errol Spence, no question about it.
Yes. No matter what. That kid is great. Yes, he has all.
I hope that fight does happen. I hope it's we see it in the near future, because I think that's a good matchup.
I think they will. I think they'll fight.
All right, I'm going to take Errol Spence.
Yeah, me too. I'm not going to count that kid out. But Danny will bring the fight to him. He will.
Well, that's all. That's all for this little quick recap.
Yep. Lights out.